Hello, Praveen. How are you
Good
doing?
morning, Poonam. I'm doing good. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well too. Thank you. So, thank you for taking your time at this busy time, at this crucial time when the entire country is under lockdown and you have increased work responsibilities. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome. And yes, the entire country is in lockdown. And as you know, I'm working in State Bank of India. So banks like hospitals and police stations are some of the few essential services that are not under lockdown. But at the same time, it is my duty as a branch head to take care of the safety of both my staff and customers. So I'm doing my best, taking all the preventive and precautionary measures that I can do to ensure their safety. And since it is a complete lockdown, there is no public transport for my staffs to come. So I have to make alternate arrangements for that also. So it is a tough time, and hopefully things will. Yeah,
Yeah, I understand. You should also take care of yourself.
yeah.
So, let's begin with an introduction. Praveen is a branch manager, as he said. He's a branch manager at the State Bank of India in a remote village in Tamil Nadu. He had applied to a few MBA programs in the US and worked with MER on his application for 3 schools. His greatest challenge was his non-competitive GMAT score. So learn how he overcame this challenge and received admit offers from multiple business schools with generous scholarships, Terry, Smith, and Babson. Praveen is heading to Smith, Maryland in the fall 2020. In this interview, Praveen talks about his background, planning for MBA, planning for GMAT, career goals, why Smith is the best fit for him, challenges during the application process, anticipated challenges because of COVID-19, and his interests and hobbies. Congratulations on receiving multiple admit offers from 3 schools. How does it feel?
Thank you, Poonam. As you said, I have received offers from 3 schools: University of Georgia, TD School of Business, and University of Maryland, Smith School of Business, and from Babson College. And in University of Georgia, they have offered me a scholarship of around 5,000 plus assistantship for 2 years. So basically, the assistantship and the stipend amount covers the entire tuition fee. So that is with the University of Georgia. In University of Maryland, they have offered me a scholarship worth $50,000, and they have offered me assistantship for the first year. And in Babson Olin, they have offered me a scholarship of $50,000 as well.
Wonderful. So it's a great achievement. So Praveen, can you tell us a little about yourself? Where are you from? Where and what did you study as undergrad? And what do you do now?
I am from Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. So I grew up here. I did my undergraduation from Anna University, Madras Institute of Technology. My major was electronics and communication engineering. After my graduation, I started working in a company called Creative Switchgears. Parallelly, I was preparing for Indian Civil Services and various other competitive examinations. In 2015, I joined State Bank of India as a probationary officer. And after joining bank, I have been promoted twice. And at present, I am working as a branch manager in a branch called Sirpakam. It is located in a very rural part of India, and I'm working there as a branch head.
Great. When did you start thinking about MBA, and why now?
Exactly a year ago, I guess. And last year I was trying to apply to a few other colleges, and it was the final deadline. So I was not aware of the procedure to apply MBA, how to articulate my essays, how to project myself, how to show my resume. So basically, right now, why I want to do an MBA is I'm working in a bank, and with the growing technology and mobile banking and internet banking applications, I believe that the role of a retail banker will be very limited in the future. So I believe that I have to position myself in management side of a company if I have to progress in my career. So to progress, to make a conversion from finance to consulting and place myself in the management side, I think an MBA degree will be more helpful in this transition. So that is why I'm doing MBA at this particular point in my career.
Sounds good. Can you tell us about your GMAT prep? Given your super demanding job, I understand it was pretty challenging for you. How did you overcome that challenge?
Actually, GMAT Prep I started around July last year. So I was looking for various online courses since most of the classes are simulated and they had online practice tests. So I was using 2 or 3 websites to find out which one suited me better. And I used most of the online courses had a pre-planned schedule. So if I give my GMAT date, they had a particular timetable which courses I should cover and when I should be taking my practice test. As you said, since my job is very demanding, I couldn't stick particularly with my schedule. So I had to skip a few classes. I had to skip a few practice tests. Last year, while I was applying, my GMAT score was just 590. So, and then again, when I retook it, I improved it to 640. And again in November, I retook the GMAT. I scored 660. So I thought it is better to apply with 660 in November or December during the first and second rounds of application. Because if I was applying in January or February during the third or fourth deadline with the same GMAT score, the number of seats might be limited. So my chances might be very limited as well. So I decided to go with my GMAT score of 660. And based on my leadership achievements and my other extracurricular activities, I thought with the score of GMAT 660, I should be able to get a few college offers, and gladly I have received them too. Yeah.
Yeah, your leadership stories were very good, really strong. That is what
Thank you.
got you in to so many schools. So, what are your career objectives, Praveen?
Right now, as I said, my immediate career objective is switching from finance field to consulting. So, with the help of an MBA degree, I'm planning to make this transition. My immediate goal is to work as a senior consultant in a consulting firm. So, during my academic course as well as uh, my initial tenure in a consulting firm, I should be able to learn the basics of consulting, understand how the work culture is there, how the market situation is there. And my long-term goal is to become a senior consultant in a consulting firm. And being a senior consultant means bringing in new projects and negotiating deals with clients. That is where I think my present work experience will help me, since on a daily basis I negotiate with a lot of customers and bring in more deals for my company. I think I can use these skills in future in my consulting firm also. So those are my short term and long term goals.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Praveen, again, you received admit offers from 3 schools and all of them offered you generous scholarships, but you chose Smith. How is Maryland Smith the best school for you?
Mm, First of all, I'm glad that all the 3 schools have offered me generous scholarships. I was not expecting it. And at the same time, it is not just about the scholarships or numbers as we go. I had to look into which program is the right fit for me. Smith is the right fit for me for more than one reason. For example, as I said, I'm looking for a transition from finance to consulting, and there is a great percentage of students who complete MBA from Smith or getting placed in consulting related firms. So that is one of the major positives. And at the same time, there are excellent leadership opportunities in Smith while I'm pursuing my MBA. And apart from that, I have quite a few friends who are alumnus from Smith. So based on their positive feedback and based on their experiences in Smith, they have persuaded me to go ahead with Smith. And decision to, as I said, some other colleges offered me more scholarships and more stipends than Smith, but still academically, for my career objectives, Smith is more aligned with my career objective, so I'm moving ahead with Smith. And also it is located the national's capital, so I think the alumnus and other firms, the exposure that I will be getting, the opportunities I will be getting in the long run, that will also be very uh, helpful in shortlisting in Smith.
I totally agree with you. I have visited the campus. The campus is also beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Praveen, can you share your education strategy, planning, and preparation in detail with our viewers? Yeah.
Was pretty simple. My GMAT score was 660. So basically, I was looking for a range of GMAT score in each colleges from 640 to 700. So that was my first step. So I was shortly listing all the colleges that were accepting GMAT scores in the range of 640 to 700. Then I was again adding one more filter. I was looking which were the colleges that were having more placements and more job opportunities in consulting. So once I started doing this, there were I could limit my colleges search to 4 or 5 colleges. Then again, the third thing I did is I was looking at deadlines. So when I started in November, I was making sure that the deadlines were in December or Jan first week, so that I had at least a month and a half to apply to each of these colleges. So basically, since every college is requiring 2 or 3 essays, I thought giving myself 1 month or 1.5 month time will be apt for me to prepare effectively for each of these colleges. And I followed a simple strategy, but it worked out really well.
Yeah, it did. It worked well. Looking back, what was the most challenging aspect of the school admission process? How did you approach that challenge and overcome it?
And there were two challenging aspects in my application. One is my GMAT score. So as I said, it is not the in the expected range. Especially from any student coming from India, I believe that universities in US are expecting in the range of 700 and above. And given the fact that my score was way below that target, so it was a very challenging aspect. And at the same time, I overcame it with organizing and my thoughts in essays. So based on the uh, whether it was a behavioral question in essay or whether it was a leadership story in essay, I was trying to put in the best possible story in the best possible manner. So since all the schools were offering uh, students with a GMAT range of 640 to 700, based on that criteria, I've applied to that school. So my firm belief was that if they are shortlisting as a student who's got only 640, so they are looking at the other factors of his application also. So I made sure my essays were presented in the best possible way and the best possible stories were told. So apparently that strategy did work out. And the second most biggest challenge that I faced is getting my recommenders to submit their recommendations on time. So since I am working and I have a very limited time where I can actually request them, and at the same time, they since they are top level and management, they find very little time to submit their recommendations. So what I did is, if the deadline is 15th, I call them around 5th or 6th and tell them the deadline is on 10th. So I make sure I give them at least 1 week time before the deadline. So made sure that all the recommenders are submitting the recommendation at least 1 week before the deadline, and it really paid out. So following up with them right from the start of my application till they submitted my recommendation really did help, because initially when I applied to a school, I was looking at only my part of the application, my resumes, my essays, and I completely forgot about my recommenders. So yeah,
I
and
was there to remind you all the time about your
yes,
recommenders. Keep following up
and
with them. Keep
it
following.
became very difficult for me to catch hold of them during the deadline. So next time when I applied, I made sure that I was telling them at least 1 week to 10 days before the deadline, as the deadline. So they submitted well before time. So I was also very well relieved.
Right. How did you overcome your challenge with the essays? We worked on
Yes,
3 schools.
yes. And as you know, and first thing is I simply followed every approach you have told me. So for every essays, my understanding of the question was very different from your understanding of the same question. So I asked your opinion how to approach each of the question. So you gave me an outline how to approach what the college is looking for in that particular question. So one thing I understood right from the start of my application process is I have all the stories, I have all the achievements, but I don't know how to present them in an organized manner. That is the first thing I learned.
Right.
So you were there to guide me and organize me my essays. So and you gave me a structure how to present my essays. And well, if it was a leadership essay, you told me how to present my leadership essay. What are the steps that I should follow? And
Right.
to be very honest, I mainly followed those steps. I did not go any far or did not go any less. So I simply followed the steps that you suggested me. And to be very honest, I was not sure, or I couldn't believe that I wrote such a good essays, because those were my stories. But even my best shot would not have been the best. The corrections that you gave me, the suggestions you told me, would have never occurred to me, because I think the best possible version of my stories were told based on your inputs and your support and your guidance. And once again, I want to thank you at this particular moment.
You're most welcome. It was my pleasure to work with you. So, what would you advise other applicants who are facing similar challenges? Would you like to give some pointers to the prospective applicants
First
about?
thing is, as I said, my GMAT score is comparatively very less, so it will be very difficult. Since I cleared, I won't say go ahead and apply with the score. It is always better to have a good GMAT score, because it not only decides your admission, but also your scholarship and other fundings inside after you get admitted. So it is better to have a good GMAT score, because it will be helpful in the future also. So first thing is concentrate on your GMAT score. Uh, Basically, how you can go is, there are so many online websites, and some of them might feel that prices are too heavy or high. But basically, every website is offering a 1 week free trial, or at minimum of 1 month subscription. So whichever website that you feel will work the best for you, you have to subscribe to that website, take that free trial. You should understand whether it is working for you or not, because different websites are providing different strategies, and you have to follow a strategy that is best suiting you. First thing. Then, as I said earlier, all the websites are preparing a calendar for you. So if you are giving your GMAT date, they are already giving you a timetable and schedule when you should be reading a particular topic, when you should be taking a mock test. So you simply adhere to those timetables and mock tests. I was not able to do that because of my work timings, but please don't make the same mistake that I did. So if you try to stick to your timings as much as possible, if you don't, at least try to make up in the future. But what I will say is, at least give a 6 month shot for your preparation part alone. And one more major mistake that I did is, I was very strong in quant, so I was concentrating only on a verbal part. So I could improve my verbal part, but my quant part did not improve. So don't make that mistake. Uh, Concentrate on both parts equally. If you're strong in quant, make sure that after your preparation, you improve your quant percentile also, because every single mark counts, and not only for your admission but for your scholarship also. So 6 months is a very sufficient time. If you are dedicated enough, surely you should be able to cross 700 mark.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
valuable
take
suggestion.
online classes, or you can take it anywhere at any time your convenience. So it should be achievable.
Right. It's a valuable suggestion. Do you have any advice on the application prep?
Application, as I said, uh, basically every applicant should look into two things first. One, whether the college will accept them based on their GMAT score. Two, whether their career goals align with the curriculum offered in the college. Those two things are very important. Once those are figured out, I think it is, even though they might be very good in their essays, or they might have the best possible version of their resumes, I always suggest take an expert's opinion. In my case, Poonam. So it's always better to have an expert's opinion, because if you are looking into your application from your point of view, you cannot find any way to improve it. But when a person with a complete total understanding of this application process comes and helps you, every single advice is valuable. That is what I will suggest. Because uh, however good your essays are, there is always room for improvement. However best possible your resumes are, there is always room for improvement.
Very
And that
true.
is exactly where you need expert opinion.
That's very true. Even accomplished writers go through multiple edits when
Because we will always be looking at it from a particular point of view. You need a different point of view to get in a different opinion, uh, to
that,
see the shortcomings that we may not see directly. So it is always good to have another person's opinion.
that is absolutely true. So, Praveen, we have talked about your strong leadership stories that got
Yeah.
you admits with scholarships into so many schools, despite your low GMAT. So I was particularly impressed by your involvement with the IS Association Club. Yeah, IS Association Club. So can you tell our viewers something about your engagement with this club? Because it also has an interesting story behind it. You were the founder, you are the co-founder, why you founded it, and how you are helping IS aspirants. Please tell us something about that.
Sure. And as I told earlier, after my graduation, I was working in a company called Creative Switchgear. Basically, I was working there because uh, I wanted to find myself sufficient time to prepare for the Indian Civil Services examination. Typically, the coaching for Indian Civil Services examination in a city like Chennai or Delhi is very expensive. So to support myself financially, I was going for work, and on weekends and evenings, I used to prepare for the exam. And not just me, we are a group of friends. We are around 5 people who are preparing for the exam. So what we did was we started this institution called Jeevan Jyoti IAS Academy in 2014. So what we did is, with the help of a local church, we started a coaching center. So the basic objective is, since the coaching for civil services exam is very expensive in a center like Chennai, we wanted to do it for free. So the basic idea is, we all got jobs in different sectors. Like I am working in SBI. One of my friend is working in CRPF. Another friend is working in IB. Another friend is working in RBI. So
Mm.
basic objective is, we wanted to give our materials, whatever we were having. We wanted to teach these underprivileged children who could not uh, financially support their coaching. So we used to take them classes for free. We used to conduct them mock tests for free. If they are attending interviews, we were giving them interviews for free. So was the basic idea. And as you said, I co-founded it. I was not the original founder. It was a common idea of a group of friends. So uh, apart from banking and helping people, giving loans and everything, this is something I really value, because it actually changes life of so many young aspirants and helping them, not just exams or interviews. Even a simple tip can change their life. A simple idea, a simple suggestion can change their approach towards every exam. So this gives a great satisfaction when some of my students clear competitive exams and get placed in various banks and various departments across the state. So that I think that is one of my most significant achievements.
Right, definitely. It is fulfilled, must have been a fulfilling experience.
Yeah,
If
it is
I
more
get
fulfilling.
into IAS,
Yes.
I would help other people get into IAS services. So that's commendable, really remarkable. So, finally, Praveen, given the turmoil and uncertainty created by COVID-19, what challenges you are anticipating in your MBA experience as an international student in the US?
To begin with, I think there will be visa restrictions, and as you are aware, most of the embassies are closed. So even after getting I-20s, I have to wait for my visa interviews. So to begin my journey in US, I'll have to wait for some time, at least at this given point in time. So I think initially my visa interview will get delayed, and at the same time, when it resumes, there will be large volume of visa applications to be processed by the embassy.
Yeah,
So eventually it will get delayed, I believe. And at the same time, there might be restrictions in the future also, given the fact international travel and international students might be limited. But I don't think for the purpose of studies, it might affect on a great deal. So it might get delayed, but there I don't believe there will be more restrictions than that. Usually, a visa process for Indian student takes around 2 to 3 weeks here. I believe it will take at least 2 months or
right.
more. So, since my classes begin in August, I hopefully, if the situation is back to normal by May or June, I should be able to attend the classes on time.
Yeah, definitely. And schools are working hard. They are working
Yes,
tirelessly to make the changes for the current students and to make things comfortable for the current students and for the incoming students. So, have you heard
exactly.
anything about that any changes, any policy changes by Maryland Smith?
No, as even I had a webinar with them yesterday. So as on yesterday, my classes are expected on August 24th. So it will begin on August 24th as planned. They actually plan some welcome weekends and other welcome events for admitted students in US on April and May that actually got transferred into virtual events. So apart from that, they are not postponing or changing any events. And at the same time, they are also processing our I-20. So they are not stopping or halting the I-20 process. So uh, they are putting their best possible effort to make sure that our visas don't get delayed because of non-issuance of I-20. So they are working that round the clock. And uh, even yesterday we had a webinar. So they are very sure that the classes will begin by August.
Yeah, it's good to know that. The show must go on.
Yeah,
And at this time, what we need is patience, perseverance, and resilience. So we
yes,
all
yes.
will emerge stronger after this term.
Hopefully everything is for the best.
Yeah, and it will end soon. All right, Praveen, it was really nice chatting with you, and thank you so much for your time. I wish you success in your MBA career and continued success in your career.
Thank you. And once again, I want to thank you for your patience, for your guidance throughout my application process. And even though some of the times I couldn't stick to my time schedule, you were patient and generous enough to return back my essays on time. So I want to thank you once again.
Thank you. You're most welcome. It was a pleasure working with you. And if you delayed sometimes, if you were late in turning around your edits, it was only because of extreme pressure at work,
Yeah.
tremendous pressure at work. So I understand that, and it was my pleasure to assist you. Good luck
Thank you. Thank you, Poonam.
in all your future endeavors. Bye.